Okay, so let's take a look at example number 2, which is number 29. They give me a right triangle here. They tell me that this side here is 34 and the angle is 23. And they want me to find this side here, which is angle side T, and they want me to find this side here, which is side S. Well, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to label my triangle. That's the very first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to label my triangle. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to label is I'm going to label the hypotenuse. Okay, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to label the hypotenuse. Okay, and so now since my angle is 23 degrees, right, since they gave me this angle here, I'm going to use that to label the rest of the triangle. So if this is 23 degrees here, that's going to be the opposite side of my 23 degrees, and obviously here this is going to be my adjacent side. Okay, now the rule says that we use what they give us and what we're looking for. We use what they give us and what we're looking for, okay? So what did they give us? What was the first thing they gave us? Out of the O, S, and H that I labeled on my triangle, which of the three is a given? Well, if you look here, the hypotenuse, the 34, is a given, okay? The hypotenuse is a given. So the question becomes, what do you want to look for first? Do you want to look for the opposite side first, or do you want to look for the adjacent side first, okay? Do you want to look for the opposite side first, or do you want to look for the adjacent side first? Okay, let's look for the opposite side first. Okay, let's do that. Let's ignore. Let's block that right there, so that we know that they gave us the hypotenuse, and we're looking for the opposite side, right? So looking at SOHCAHTOA, which of the three trig functions in SOHCAHTOA has an O and an H? Is it the tangent? Is it TOA? Nope. Is it the ka? Nope. It's what? It's the SO in SOHCAHTOA, right? So which trig function is that? Which one has the O and the H? It's going to be the what? The sine function. So we're going to take the sine function of 23 degrees to find the opposite side, because they gave us the hypotenuse and we're looking for the opposite side. We chose to look for the opposite side, right? So we're looking for, they gave us H and we're looking for O, and that's going to be that right there. So I'm going to say that the sine of 23 degrees is equal to T over 34. Why did I put T over 34? Because the sine function says that it's the opposite over the hypotenuse. It's going to be my opposite over my hypotenuse. But I have O and H, or H and O, it's going to be opposite over hypotenuse, which is the letter T over 34. So the sine of 23 degrees is T over 34. So I go to my calculator, I type in 23, I hit the sine button, and that gives me 0.3907, and that's equal to T over 34. Now I got this number in the denominator here, and you know we want to get rid of that. How do I get rid of it? I get rid of it by multiplying across the equal sign. When I do that, I'm going to have 0.3907 times 34. That's going to be equal to T. There, look, I got the T by itself, right? That's what I was looking to do. When I multiply them, I get 13.28 is equal to T. And I'm just going to just round that to 13.3. So side T of the triangle is 13.3. So there I found one of the sides of the triangle. Now notice, now you have one side and you have the hypotenuse. So now if you wanted to use the Pythagorean theorem to find S, you could do that as well. But let's move on to find the adjacent side using trigonometry. Okay, so let's do that. So here's my triangle, and by the way, it's the exact same triangle there, right? Right, here it is. There's my hypotenuse. This is the opposite side. This is the adjacent side. There's my 23, and now I want to find the adjacent side, right? So I'm going to block this out here because I don't want that. I don't need that. In order to find the side, all I need is the side that they give me and the side that I'm looking for. The side that they give me and the side that I'm looking for. Well, they gave me the H, and I'm looking for the A. They gave me the H, and I'm looking for the A. In SOHCAHTOA, which one has the H and the A? Which one has the H and the A in SOHCAHTOA? Okay, in SOHCAHTOA, they gave me the H, I'm looking for the A. Which one has the H and the A? It's going to be the cosine function. Yeah, H and A. So the cosine of 23 degrees, okay, cosine is what is adjacent over hypotenuse, right, guys? So it's going to be the cosine of 23. Cosine of 23 is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over the hypotenuse. Adjacent is a S. I don't know what it is. hypotenuse is 34. So the cosine of 23 degrees is S, which I'm looking for, over 34. So now I'm going to plug it into my calculator. The cosine of 23 is 0.9205, and that's S over 34. I got a denominator here, right? I want to get this S by itself. I got to get rid of that denominator, right? How do I do that? Multiply across the equal sign. When I do that, I'm going to get 0.9205 times 34 is equal to S. When I multiply these two together, that gives me 31.29 is equal to S, and I can just round this up to 31.3. So side S is 31.3. Okay? Let's take a look at another example. Let's take a look at example number 30, question number 30. So here's my triangle, right? They told me that this is S, this is R, this is 4, and this angle is 36. Obviously, my focus is going to be on angle 36 there. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label my triangle, right? There it is. I labeled it. Here's my 90-degree angle, so this is my hypotenuse. Here's my 36 degrees, so that's the opposite side, and this is the adjacent. So now, here's what you do. Okay, you want to find S and you want to find R. Two things you need: the side they gave you and the side you're looking for. The side they gave you and the side you're looking for. What did they give you? They gave you the A. So what are you looking for? Are you going to be looking for the O? Excuse me, are you going to be looking for the O or the H? Are you looking for the opposite side or are you looking for the hypotenuse? For us, let's do the O first. So I'm going to block out this hypotenuse here. They gave me A, and I'm looking for O, right? They gave me the A, and I'm looking for the O. So out of the three trig functions in SOHCAHTOA, which one has the A and the O? Which one has the A and the O? If you pick the tangent, you pick correctly because that has the A and the O. So I'm going to say that the tangent of this angle is going to be equal to the opposite over the adjacent. The tangent is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Well, the opposite is S, and the adjacent is 4. So it's going to be S over 4. So the tangent of 36 degrees is S over 4. Right? I plug this into my calculator, and I get 0.7265 is equal to S over 4. I got to get rid of this denominator here, so I multiply across the equal sign, right, guys? That's going to give me my decimal times 4 is equal to S. And when I multiply them together, I get 2.906 is equal to S. And I could just round that just to 2.9. So S is going to be 2.9. Okay, so we found, look at that, we found side S. Well, now that we found S, let's see if we can find R, right? Let's see if we can find R. So let me block out S there. Back to where we started. What did they give me? What did they give us? They gave us the adjacent side, right? And what are we looking for now? We're looking for the R. So in SOHCAHTOA, which one has the A and the H? Which trig function in SOHCAHTOA has the A and the H? Well, if you picked the cosine function, you picked correctly. Because if you look here, cosine has A and the H. So, let me block this out here. So the cosine of 36 degrees, the cosine is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. The adjacent is 4, the hypotenuse is R. So the cosine of 36 degrees is 4 over R. So right away, what do? I plug this into my calculator. That gives me 0.8090 is equal to 4 over R. I got to get rid of this denominator here. How do I get rid of it? Multiplying across the equal sign there. When I do that, I get 0.8090R is equal to 4. I want to solve for R now. How do I do that? Divide both sides by 0.8090. Do that. The 8090s cancel out. And R is equal to 4.94. And I can round that up to just 4.9. Okay? So we can just round that up to 4.9. And if it's multiple choice, they'll let you know how far they want you to round up, or the choice will be pretty evident. And that is how we use the three trig functions to find sides of triangles. It just depends on, what does it depend on? Depends on what they give you and what you want to look for. Okay? And depending what they give you and what you want to look for will determine